What's going on? You're in the Beat Sessions, the place for all things music, and where we do the listening for you. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's talk about a channel favorite. Mr. Andrew Bird is back with a new record. It's entitled Outside Problems, and he released that on July 21st. This is studio album number 14 for him, and his follow-up to 2022's Inside Problems. That record, an intriguing exploration into the mind and the heart, the inner turmoil that all of us face in our daily lives. And you think about when that record came together in the midst of COVID and even in the aftermath of it now, everything that we all deal with still. It's a very poignant exploration of all of those themes. I enjoyed that record very much. Outside Problems is very much a different experience, even though it informs the music on Inside Problems. Feels like Andrew might suggest, if you haven't checked out the predecessor, listen to Outside Problems, and then listen to Inside Problems, and then go back to Outside, and you'll definitely get a stellar idea of the way that the compositions on Outside inform Inside. But there's three big differences. Inside Problems, very tight compositions. Andrew's also working with a number of collaborators, so he's got a full band at work there, and percussion as well. It's something that's very absent on Outside Problems. And it's the absence of the vocal element. We talked about the lyrics and the themes of Inside Problems. Outside Problems, big instrumental exploration. And it kind of bums me out that there isn't even a little bit of whistling there. I think that that is probably one of the best instruments in Andrew Bird's arsenal. And so I'm kind of curious as to why it doesn't come out more, especially when you think about these songs, just being outside, getting these ideas off his chest, getting these ideas out into the air and just to see what type of inspiration they spark up. I would have thought there would have been a little more whistling, but it's cool. I'm still good with these songs. They're so loose and really highlighting one of the greatest things that he does as a multi-instrumentalist, and that's the improvisation. Just going with the flow, really building off these ideas. And I love the way that the majority of these compositions, they start off with him plucking on the violin, and then he's going to use that line 6 DL4 loop pedal to do his thing. And I can't imagine. I mean, I play bass. I really don't use a loop pedal at all. I think about him. I think about an outfit like L1011. All these players that utilize this technique. Tash Sultana is another one that comes to mind just now. I mean, it's pretty impressive the way that these artists are able to just stay on top of that. So I love that about this record. And obviously he's going back and there's different layers and textures and production. I don't think that these are all just, one-offs of him just going out there, but I dig the inspiration for the record, just being outside and taking in the pastoral. There's a crazy statistic out there that the average American spends about 90% of their life inside. It's wild to me. Get some fresh air, get some sunlight. It's good for you. And I think that that's really what this album is about, especially, in light of the tension that is at work on Inside Problems, the focus on, again, the turmoil that we create for ourselves, that the world creates for us. It's different and really interesting how liberating Outside Problems is, again, even though it informs so much of Inside. I love Monse, your opening track, French reference there. Love the feel of just the violin and that plucking technique to open this thing up. He's got, it sounds like this thick bluesy bass that enters in on this track, but he uses an octave pedal as well to make that effect. So it keeps you on your toes. I don't know if that's actually him on his bass guitar or if he's just looping that bass there or looping the violin, excuse me, but a really cool element to that song. I like the element of rhythm on here. It's just held with some finger snaps. You get this prominent violin that enters, and it really creates kind of an ominous feel in the music. What I really like about this song, there's this moment where the music just drops out and the violin is the focal point, and it's just excellent. And the bass walks right back in and the song goes to work. And this happens twice. This song overall, it reminds me of something like Canned Heat maybe would have done. It's a great opener. I love it. Epilogue is your second track. This is a track that Andrew talks about, that experience of inside and outside, and these being kind of companion projects, so to speak. But he says that the music on this particular song of any of these compositions, you'll hear what's at play on Inside Problems and the way that, you know, this song and the rest of these tracks are driving the inspiration there. It's pretty cool. A great bit of reverb on the violin plucking. He continues to layer that to open up this track. Bass works in unassumingly here. I really like the kind of aquatic feel that this song develops. And there's also this excellent component, this string element where, like, there's this violin that creates this dissonance and it's almost off-putting. But the way he plays with it, he lets it just like build an intensity really quick and then he backs it off. And it's so well done. It's so nuanced and really highlights a lot of what his brilliance is as far as just, you know, being able to drive with that creativity, being able to push the bar in that way, so to speak, creating something that, again, is almost off-putting, but it works. And then what's even more brilliant about the track is the violin mellows out to finish. And so I like that. I like that intensity and then the kind of like fall off to finish there. Festivus, for the rest of us, your third track. I dig the groove on this thing. Picks up a little bit of a percussion element on this track. The plucking is driving and it's got a dance feel. I really feel that on this track. The Latin influence that's there. I get some cumbias. I get some reggaeton. You know, a lot of the music, I live in Tucson, Arizona. If you're not familiar with the channel, a lot of the music that I hear in the area, this song reminds me of that. This song feels fully fueled by all the music that's coming out of the region where I'm at. It's just a brilliant track, full of life. Leads into what we saw. Your fourth song is soft, but intricate as far as the plucking work to open. And I love when he just starts to jam with the violin, just kind of like playing it like a guitar. He does that momentarily, and then he takes more of a conventional technique on the violin and just starts to jam for the rest of the track on that. I really dig it. Your fifth song, Mormon House Party. This is a pretty aptly titled song, I gotta admit. I know quite a few Mormons. They're lovely people. They just have wonderful, bright dispositions. This song has this like light, frolicking plucking pattern to open it up. It's, you know, we talk about instrumental tracks and how song titles and the thought that's there is really important. I really think that when you write an instrumental track, you should let the listener go to where they want to go. But it's also, I think it's also brilliant to build that foundation with the title, kind of give them a starting point and then let their mind wander. And that's, I couldn't help but feel that very strongly with this song. It opens up for like 2 minutes, you're getting this element, and then the bass just comes in out of nowhere. It's like Tobin showing up fashionably late to the party, and he's got a brand new Scrabble board because we left ours in the social room after the bake sale. It's, oh, I'm sorry about the joke. It's kind of bad, but for real, it's that element of surprise that I love about these compositions. The improvisation, it keeps them loose and it keeps you on your toes. They're just so much fun. Vocal element at play on this song, a little bit of work there. And I like the way that this, like the music on this song, it fades in the coda just to showcase this avant-garde violin element for about a minute. One of the longer songs on the record. It's a pretty cool track. Motif is your sixth song, my favorite. Really like this track. It leads in with this conventional violin technique. It fades and then it ushers in this just galloping, strumming, and plucking technique. And we finally get some whistling. I love it on this track. This is a composition that has a ton of cinematic flair. I mean, most of these do because they're instrumental, but this particular song, it just got me. It just took me to a place that, you know, I think every songwriter, when they're putting something down like this, they hope that, you know, they're able to just, you know, help the listener take off. And that's what this track did for me. I absolutely love it. Heaven's Bows is your seventh song. Twinkly, kind of like Neapolitan feel to this song. I really like the feel, the plucking of the violin on this track. And there's just this great dynamic between the conventional playing of the violin and the plucking that carries this track. Improvisation on a Familiar Theme is your penultimate track. Your eighth song has this great build-in on the plucking textures to open, and then gorgeous violin that enters at about 45 seconds. It's a really perplexing mood that this track builds. I love the dynamic here. I love the whistling element that works in on this thing. It's this is a song that it's simple in its instrumentation, but it's so lush. It finds a way to be so big, and I love that as well about it. little bit of whistling to end this thing, and it leads into your final track, TikTok. Your ninth song has got this deep, heavy plucking tone. It's simple and methodical, and it's going to carry the song. The strings that enter are lovely, and a big influence of arrangements from the Middle East. Really like the feel of the strings, reminding me of music coming out of India, Pakistan. I mean, pretty much all over the region in the Middle East, stretching into Saudi Arabia, to Iran, to Iraq, all the way through the region there. A cool track and just a great way to close off this experience. This is, again, I love, given the experience of Inside Problems, I love the sort of liberation that comes with Outside Problems, the feeling of freedom that you get just going along with Andrew Bird and, just anticipating his every turn and every move, where he's going to go next with these songs. So much fun. Really enjoyed this project. We're going to vinyl please it. Unfortunately, I think it's currently sold out. If you're trying to find it online, might dip into your local record store to see if they can get a hold of this thing for you. Good luck trying to get a copy. I hope you're able to do that. And please enjoy this record. Hope you find this review helpful. Like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help us blow this project up in 2023. Stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We'll see you next time on the Beat Sessions.